But that doesn't mean that sustainable fuels are the fix for everything, also when it comes to general mobility.
I'm glad you're making this distinction.
So
I think
that's where it's easy to get confused.
Yes.
The thing is, if you just look at what racing is, it's either going full throttle or full on the brakes and then full throttle again. That's very different to you and me driving day in, day out our cars, or if you hop on the bus driver is not flat out until the light jumps red.
Hopefully not.
So there's the biggest difference. And I think for racing and the forms that we know, Formula One races are fairly long. They're 300 kilometers since I can remember, and probably I think since the 50s. That's the distance of a Grand Prix, and I think there's value in keeping it like that rather than shortening it and switching to electric, full electric. But then you need to find solutions. You cannot just hold on to the past and say, this is the way we've always done it. You need to find solutions. Synthetic fuels is where Formula One is going from 2026. Now you need to make sure that you establish these fuels in the right manner. They have to come from renewables. And, they give you, I think, a solution, probably the best that we know today, to hold on racing as we know it, but doing it in a responsible way. But that doesn't mean that sustainable fuels are the fix for everything, also when it comes to general mobility.
I'm glad you're making this distinction.
So I think that's where it's easy to get confused. The downsides, I mean, it's a great idea to make fuels without fossil background, but the downside, it is very energy costly. It takes a lot of energy. And providing that we're short of energy right now, maybe one day we are not, and then it might not matter. But today we are. We live in a world where we know that we have too many emissions. We have, the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere is probably too high compared to where it once was, and it established, or it allowed us this sort of constant conditions where we thrived and developed. And now we're looking into a world where we don't know yet what the outcome is, with plus 1.5 degrees, plus 2.5 degrees of global warming. So we don't know yet how that world looks like. And now you can argue a lot of times why exactly we got to where we got and whose fault it was and so on, but I don't think it really matters. I think the fact is we are, at threat. The world that we know is at threat, and we should try our best to preserve the world we knew, or go back as much as we can, without going back in terms of ditching all the cars and ditching all the buildings and ditching all the things that we
it's not practical.
It's not practical. It's not going to happen. So we need to find solutions. A lot of them are already in place. The way we can make energy these days is great compared to how it once was. I think coming back, I think there's these two things that we need to distinguish: the racing profile, which is very different, the demands, and the general mobility. For the racing world, I think synthetic fuels are a solution today. Who knows what they might become in 10 or 20 years' time. And for mobility, I think you just walk up and down here and you see plenty of ideas and solutions already in place.
Yeah, indeed you do. In fact, probably someone you know quite well, Paddy Lowe, has a business, Zero Petroleum, doing just this. I interviewed Paddy a couple of years ago now about all of that. And, he's a pretty smart guy. He's got a vision and a mission and a purpose with all of that. So, that's all good.